Salam everyone, EuGenius SOL, your local natural mystic, Kabbalist, yogi, entrepreneur. Thank you for checking out Soul Talk. Today's Soul Talk will be about light workers versus the darkness. My goodness, my goodness. You know, this is deep work, especially if you are if you've labeled yourself as a light worker or a healer in a community setting, and you're serving other people. It's kind of like what the theme of most people's lives are. It's the light versus the darkness. You know, it's good versus evil. It's right versus wrong. You know, it's the duality that we are playing into. So I'm just here to give a quick perspective, as quick as I can make it. I got a timer here, so I try to keep it under 4 minutes, but the last videos have just been a little bit above that because that's just how I've been. Boy, you know, I got a lot of feelings about this. I've been studying for a bit. You know, I came to a point in my life a little early, not super early, maybe like 23, 24. You know, I'm 38 years old. I haven't been doing this for 40 or 50 years, so by no means am I a light expert or spiritual guru master. I don't, you know, even if I was, you know, my lineage of Roskra Kabbalah, we don't talk about it. And we're not here to, you know, glorify ourselves. We're here to glorify God, and that's the bottom line for how I roll. Okay, so that being said, light versus darkness. There's a lot of it going around. You know, right now Israel is being bombed. You know, that conflict has been going on for thousands of years. People fighting over lands and concepts and paper. Like, you know, it's so deep, you know, and so much pain is coming from that on both sides. You know what I mean? It's like they're wrong, you know, and we're right, you know, or we killing them because they killed us. You know, I grew up in Los Angeles, man. That's the Bloods and the Crips. You know, that's Dieciocho against, you know, Mara Salvatrucha. You know what I mean? That's the conflict of humans against humans, of life against itself, trying to work out balance, trying to feel accepted, wanting to feel loved, and needing to have a space to call home, really. You know, and it has definitely been perpetuated by certain systems that are established, governments, special interest groups, whatever, that make money off of that. You know, I mean, it's always about business, you know, usually, and it doesn't have to necessarily do only with money, but the business of energy, the business of control, the business of mass social manipulation. Because you think about it, back in the days when we were still figuring out how to move in these very animalistic bodies, when the souls first start coming into the flesh and having a whole gambit of different experiences, there needed to be some law and order, you know. So here comes the 10 Commandments, here comes the Holy Quran, here comes the Vedas, you know, here comes, you know, all these different beautiful works by the conscious avatars that have come, sent by, you know, the workers of light, to help us evolve as a species on this particular planet, and to help the evolution of God's extensions to evolve as well. So if you check another video, I'll talk a little bit about that and how I feel about us being extensions. But back to the subject of light versus dark. There is no light versus dark. There is no light versus dark. There's this is a choice. There's no darkness out there. It's in you. You know, people that know me for the last couple years know I went through a certain situation with the partner that I had. You know, things weren't going well. Something went down. You know, I fell in love with another girl, and there, you know, I wasn't honest in my relationship. You know, I hadn't had that experience, believe it or not, before. I've always been pretty straight to the point with the women that I've been in relationship with, but this was a different situation. So when it happened, you know, it was pretty public, you know what I mean, and everybody had their opinions about it, talking to me or not talking to me, going to class or not going to class. Is he a real yogi? Isn't he a real yogi? Does he drink? Does he smoke? Does he do this? Does he do that? All these different things come in about what's real and what is not real, you know. And as far as I'm concerned, I'm as real as they come. I'm gonna tell you how it is. I'm gonna put my stuff out there. I'm not gonna make any excuses for my actions. I'm gonna own them and learn from them. So think about this. Let's say the classic example of a mechanic, right? Let's say a mechanic goes to school for 5 years learning the ins and outs of engines, transmissions, and the workings of any automobile and every model that's made on earth. And you go to him for a consultation. This brother's just got out of school, or he or she's been, working on different things. Now, would you go to a mechanic that's never had to fix a car, whose own car had never broken down in the middle of somewhere, and he's had to gangster away creatively to fix that car? Or would you go to a person that has full knowledge of how to fix cars, has never really had it happen to themselves in regards to breaking them down, but has fixed other people's broken cars? I'm going to go to the person that's fixed their car. They got a personal interest in that. They are working every day fixing cars. And then what happens? Their car breaks down. And they got to figure out what they didn't do right, fix it, and keep it moving. But that's exactly how I roll. That's exactly how all of you so-called light workers need to start rolling. You need to start rolling like, you know what? I'm not perfect. I got stuff coming up. I'm not living a life in the Himalayas doing this, dissertations about this and that and this and that, and I ain't never lived in the city. I've never lived amongst a woman or a man that I've been in a relationship with that I had to work out some stuff because, that's what comes up. I haven't had the perfect relationship. I haven't had the perfect spiritual practice, but you know what? When it happened, I caught it, I enhanced it, and then I grew. That's the bottom line in any type of evolution. You cannot grow unless you have challenge. You cannot walk around on earth saying you're anything unless you've been faced with a personal, close to home challenge that has rocked you, that has given you the opportunity to be on your knees, to look for the answer inside of yourself. Those are the people that I want to associate with when it comes to learning something from. I want to learn from someone that's been through the trials and tribulations and moved through them. All of our great avatars, be it Krishna, Jesus the Christ, Buddha, Arjun, I don't care what it is, who it is, whatever story, whatever symbolic story of personal growth, that's out there. There's always a time where they are on their knees. There's always a time they're like, oh my God, how do I get out of this? And they've got to be still and go within and move forward from those mistakes. So that light and darkness battle isn't necessarily amongst the governments or amongst a certain racial group, there's nothing else out there. There is just really nothing else out there. And if there's something going on, if you're watching the news and you're seeing the ridiculousness of them bombing Jerusalem and Israel and the people dying and the babies running and crying, man, that's happening in your life. That's happening inside of you. That's happening in your family. I guarantee it. You think your family's all good? Yeah, right. You're on earth. You're living in a dualistic plane, right? You're living between the light and the dark. That darkness is going to show itself to you, especially if you think you're perfect, especially if you think that you're just full of light, which you are. You are full of light, but you are light encased in flesh. You are light being projected into a physical body that is of this world, that has darkness. You are the light inside the dark. So you better believe that you're going to have to deal with some darkness. And how you approach it, the perspective you have on it, is everything in that so-called battle. And it's everything in that so-called struggle. My personal perspective is everything is happening inside the mind of God. Everything. There is nothing that can conquer. There is no entity, energy that can even rival the presence of all that is. I don't believe that there's a devil or a Satan that can even touch God. Where did he come from? It was created by this energy, this force, as context, as a way to test those that are here encapsulated in darkness, to make sure that the light can shine through and illuminate that which is seen. That is my perspective. That is how I see the light worker working. Is working through the darkness, is owning the darkness, is having trials and tribulations, is putting your life out there as a way of saying, you know what, this is how I am, this is how I'm working. I'm an every man's man, I'm an every woman's woman, I'm a normal person, but I'm applying spiritual principle, I'm applying high concepts to a life that is meant to be a training ground. We're not here to be happy. You're not in a relationship to be happy for the rest of your life. You're in a relationship to work, baby. You're in a relationship to grind and figure out how to have a deeper and more fulfilling expression of love in the face of hate, in the face of judgment, in the face of projection. You are here to vibrate the highest frequency. You know what I'm saying? You're here to vibrate the highest frequency in the midst of the darkness. So take heart. Take heart in the fact that you're not alone, that the darkness will not overcome you if you don't give it too much power to. And if you do, you come back and try it again. That's the beauty of this game. This game gives you unlimited lives. It's like you're entering a code on your Xbox One. Boom. You got unlimited life. You can't get past that one part. Trust me, you're going to keep going through that one part in as many different ways as possible until you conquer that boss level, and you're going to go to the next level and keep it moving. So I hope that, gives you an insight into what I feel about light workers and healers. If you are a healer, you call yourself a healer, well, God bless you. I just feel like also that God's doing the healing, ain't nothing to do with you. Why take credit for something that has nothing to do with you? You are a vessel or a medium for that light to extend through. Or go ahead, you want to take credit for it, fine. You a healer, man. If it makes you more loving and people are feeling the healing that's coming from you. I know a lot of great people that do healing. A good friend of mine, a fellow natural mystic, Ganesha Michael Shapiro. Got a brother Elijah doing some stuff, you know what I mean? My boy Will I Am. It's a lot of people in the Melissa Solano, what up? A lot of people in our community here in Miami that are doing great work that you should have a conversation with, and if you're having some issues, come holler at us. We're here for your support, and we're here to support you. So that being said, this is the longest video I've done so far, but again, this is such a big topic, especially in the spiritual community, that's talking about integrity, that's talking about keeping it real. Keep it real. Keep it real, like for real on the real. You know what I mean? So that's it. I love you guys. Thank you for listening. Soul Talk. I'm EuGenius SOL. Check out the link below to get on the newsletter, to stay in tune with all the events that are going on that we've got. And I hope that God blesses you. July 26th on the beach, 7 p.m., 71st in Collins, new moon in Cancer. If this is an old video, it's already done, but check in at the newsletter and you'll have the next one coming. Blessings.